All right, and we are live for another night of DISANITY, and tonight is, of course, our special guest week, and we are going to have a fantastic time tonight because we have the most special of special guests. No other way of saying it. We are going to have a great time tonight. Our special guest is, of course, the one and only super mod, super mom, super Disney wonderful person. I don't even know how to say it, Donna. You know what you are. We have Donna Jaworski here. Donna, welcome in, dear. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are honored to have you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
No, we're going to have a good time tonight. We definitely appreciate you being here. Yep, we're going to have a fantastic time for sure. But tonight, Donna, Melissa, and myself, we're going to talk about, of course, everybody knows that we're moving down to Florida in a little over a month and a half. And so we thought, you know what? Let's get an expert in here, somebody who really knows Disney and knows Florida really well. And we were like, let's talk moving to Florida. Pros and cons, different things. We'll get into everything. And we thought it would be a really fun and informative thing for those who, like Melissa and I, might be thinking about possibly moving to Florida in the near future, or maybe not the near future. It took us several years before we finally did it. But so we'll get into that in just a minute. I do have to do a little bit of mousekeeping real fast. Of course, we want to say to Dean over at the Live Place, theliveplace.com. Thank you, Dean, for all that you do, buddy. Family-friendly streams throughout the week, Monday through Sunday. If you're looking for a stream, Dean is like he's like the TV guide of live streams for sure. You can find them all right there. Be sure to check out Dean. He's a great supporter of this community. And of course, our two partner channels, Steve's World and Disney Dan. Those guys are fantastic as well. Steve goes live on Mondays, and Dan goes live on Saturdays with Disney Fiasco. Steve's also live on Saturdays with me, doing Sports Night, and the Disney Crew on Wednesdays at 9. So be sure to check those guys out. They are fantastic. But let's say hi to a few people in the chat real fast, Donna. I'm going to say hi to a few people, and then we will get some questions going here. And I did have everybody. I asked everybody. I was like, have your questions ready for Donna, just in case in the end. That way, if they wanted to ask any, we could do that. I hope this is going all the way back to the beginning. I have David Stevens, Emily LSU Mom is here, Steve's World's in the house, Samantha Lowe, Brian Eisenhart, Mike Wheeler, My Disney Park Memories, Mouse Talk is here, Pickle True loves Disney, Brian Eisenhart, Pickle True. Is that right? Am I saying that right? I always say that wrong. Pickle True. Piglet True.
Piglet Roo.
Oh, Piglet Roo.
Oh my gosh, we always call you Piglet True.
We've been saying it wrong all this time, and nobody ever corrected us.
And it's thank God you're here, Donna, already.
See,
and
look.
it makes sense.
Piglet Roo. I mean, what is this? A Disney community or something? Good Lord, that just like right over our head. Anyway. Magical News Live, Nick is here because we just don't know anything. Good Lord. Thank you, Donna. And Donna will be moderating the rest of the time here and correcting us because we don't know anything. I can't believe I said Pickle True all this time.
I know, me too, though.
Piglet Roo, welcome in. Loves
I'm so
Disney.
sorry, Piglet Roo.
Ray J's in the house. Mike Wheeler, Rob Wieska, I hope I said that right.
Probably not.
Alyssa and Neil Disney family. Jersey Mike. Richard's in the house, R. John's. Rachel Myers and the Mouse's biggest fan. Nathan Rita's here. And I think, oh my gosh, he just jumped on me. Alex Brunner's in the house. Rob Fuzz is here. Andrea Houston. Candy Mom is in the house. Oh my gosh, and this really jumped, guys. I apologize. Thank you all for being here. Phantasm Chronicles. AJC Magic TV. Diz Our Dreams. Pepper Tree Villa. Dreamer Deborah's here. It's Joey's World. Kay Atwood. I'm getting there. Avery, the Cuban American, she's like pointing. I got it. Thank you all. Donna, you are just bringing in the crowd. Andrea Houston, it's Joey's World. I think Russ Stapleton's here. Jeff Resendis is here. Good to see you, Jeff. Noah's in the house. Shelly Starwalker. And it jumped again. Two Real Geeks is here. Timothy Rainwater, Stevie Lee. And guys, if I missed you, I apologize. I will definitely just repost. It's Rob.
Amy,
it's Rob Fuzay. I got it wrong. So now we're pronouncing Rob's wrong too. Fuzai. Rob Fuzai. Captain Akron 27, and I think we are caught up. There's Steve. And all right, so finally, Donna, after all that, we're going to finally get into this. I apologize, dear. Thank you. Jim's here. More sunshine, please. We were just saying how we've had nothing but clouds and we needed more sunshine, please. And now he's here. And Billy A is in the house as well. But Donna, I do want to ask you. So, a lot of people, especially in this Disney community, and you know it, what do we all say? Man, we would love to live near Disney. Man, we would love to live in Florida, be really close and be able to go to the parks all day. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. Some of the pros and cons and some of the different things. But I want to start with you giving us kind of your inspiration. What made you move from Oklahoma back to Florida near the Disney area in Central Florida? What was kind of your inspiration for that?
Okay. So I'm going to but my husband passed away about 4 years ago, and I was left on a 5-acre property with a 2,700 square foot house and just me to take care of it.
Sure.
And it was really hard. Things started getting a little bit dicey, and brown recluse spiders invaded my garage and into the work of the house. The house was relatively new. I mean, it was built in 2009.
Wow.
So these things shouldn't have been happening, and I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just overwhelmed. And I had lived in South Florida, in Coral Springs near the Fort Lauderdale area for about 5-6 years back in the 90s. And that's when we had, I had always loved Disney, but that's where our girls, my 2 daughters, got their love for Disney.
Right.
And we always made trips back to Disney, and we were DVC members and all that stuff. So I always, in the back of my mind, wanted to go to Florida. Florida had, well, first of all my friends were here. I do have some family in Florida. They winter here. And the other things that there were perks like no state income tax, which is a great thing. So there were many factors. I didn't have to deal with tornadoes anymore in Oklahoma.
Right.
So, yeah. And I grew up in New England. So we were used to hurricanes and things like that. So that to me is not that big of a weather thing.
Right.
But the tornadoes were pretty scary. We lived right in Tornado Alley.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay. Yeah.
That is super scary.
We had to go into our safe room a lot, and it was not fun.
I'm sure.
It was just a lot. And so I needed to do something more simple, and I didn't want winters and harsh, cold weather anymore, because I also lived 10 years in Alaska. My husband was military, so we lived like everywhere.
Wow.
And so I just wanted something that was low maintenance and that I could, live the rest of my life and not have to, think about moving again, like a big move out of state.
Yeah.
Right. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're right. You touched on it for a second there. It's always something that gives us that inspiration to want to move.
Right.
And sometimes it takes several different things to kind of push you over the edge to say, you know what, we're going to do it. And you just touched on it. And I think it's a big one. And I want you to tell me kind of for you how much of a big factor it was. You talked about state income tax.
Right.
That's a big savings.
It sure is.
In your whether it's in your payroll or whether it's in other ways that you make income, that's a big savings. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally would agree. Because my husband was military, he got to choose his state of residency. And since we lived in Alaska the longest, he chose Alaska for his state of residency. So we never paid state income tax. It was just how it was. And then after he passed away, I, as a spouse, couldn't choose residency. I had to be where I was, which was Oklahoma.
Ah, okay.
And I slammed with a humongous tax bill, and I was just like, "Ooh, this is a wake-up call I wasn't expecting." Yeah. So that was a factor for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We where we are in Maryland, we have to pay state income tax. It was one of the perks to making part of our decision to move down there, because I'll be honest with you, if it was something where there was state income tax in Florida, we would have been a lot more hesitant with that, because that's a big one. We didn't talk a ton about it, but it did play a big factor in one of the pros to wanting to move down there for us as well. So, Yeah, I mean, it's a biggie for sure.
Oh,
I thought we were going to say brown recluse spiders because that would have made me move like instantly. Like, let's go.
Let's go. We're going. We'll pay extra state
I'm
income
like,
tax.
yeah, she touched on it. I said, spiders?
it was so ridiculous. They
Oh,
were bad. And then we had all the scorpions, and those weren't fun either. I was just like, I'm done with these poisonous little creatures in my house. I'm done.
There's no way. I think spiders are bad enough, but you add poisonous to spiders? That's it.
Oh, I know. It's
Done.
true.
Out of there.
Dougie says, I'd love to move to Florida. Still waiting for some Florida girl to hit rock bottom, drop any standards she may have, and marry me so I can move stateside and coast by on the Scottish accent. There you go.
Did you decide against the adoption, Dougie?
I know.
Come on.
Dougie's ready to move too.
I thought you were moving with us.
A few other people to come in. Dreamers Empire, Dean is here. Jackie R. being the Disney is here. And everybody else that came in, dropped in. Thank you for being here, guys. We appreciate you very much. Donna, talking about housing. What did I miss?
Mike, he's like, not to scare you, but we have brown recluse spiders here too. I'm hoping though, since we'll be renting our first year, that if there are brown recluse spiders, they can come spray them out of there.
Yes,
I have to do
exactly.
it myself.
But you know what else they have down in Florida that we don't have up here? Crocodiles.
This
Or
is
alligators.
true. I was gonna say,
Alligators. But Melissa, I'll tell you, I had pest control at my house once a week, and they could not figure out why they could not get rid of the brown recluse spiders. They were everywhere.
that's so scary.
Thank goodness they were just in my garage.
That was Oklahoma, right? Oh, thanks, Downscale.
Downscale with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, stop dropping $5 bills. Jeez. Downscale, thank you for that, buddy. That was very
Missed you,
generous.
Downscale.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. Thank you so much for that. Everybody,
Not because of the super chat.
Yeah.
I realized my timing wasn't very good. We've missed you, period.
being here, right. But
Dougie says the adoption isn't moving quickly enough for him.
I understand. I understand. But Donna, let me ask you about housing down there. Because, of course, obviously there's two different ways you go. You can rent or own. Perks, I'm sure, to both. But talk a little bit about, because you now have done both. You originally were a renter. Now you're a homeowner. What do you think about that when it comes to renting compared to housing?
Okay, so this is what I have found out. What I am paying for rent now for I told you I had a 2,700 square foot house in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very nice. But now I'm living currently, my rental is maybe 1,800 square feet, maybe 1,900, and I'm paying the same amount I was in Oklahoma. And that's, with my taxes and insurance and all that put in. So you don't get as much bang for your buck renting. But I am getting a very similar to what I was going to have in Oklahoma when I bought. So, yeah.
Yes. And a lot of that, if I'm not mistaken, because we have that up here too.
Yeah.
We were looking at what we could rent, what that we own our home here. We were looking at what we could rent our home for, and it was significantly higher than what we pay for a mortgage.
Yeah.
And so I get that. And you're right. It behooves you a lot if you're able to do it to possibly be that homeowner, because obviously you're paying it over 30 years fixed mortgage usually.
Yeah.
Right. That's going to help to keep that payment down. Whereas if you're renting, they can kind of charge you whatever they want because
right.
And it's kind of market driven.
You don't have. For me, I always felt a little bit unstable because you never know, if the landlord's going to sell the house, and when your lease is up, are they going to raise your rent?
Yeah.
Or or if they do switch owners, is the other owner going to, keep this as a rental?
Right, that's true.
There's so many factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very true. Let me ask you this one. Speaking of, renting and down there in the state, when it comes to and we're going to touch on hurricanes in a minute, but as a renter, when you would have a hurricane come around, what did your landlord as a renter do for you? Did he come in, board the houses up, anything like that?
I'm very glad you asked that, because we had, that threat of Hurricane Dorian, which was the hurricane that really wasn't.
Yes, that's when we were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. but what happened with that was nothing. I heard nothing at all from my landlord. It was crickets. I was basically on my own. But what I ended up doing was using some of my DVC points and booking a room at Bay Lake Tower for 3 nights.
Yeah,
Sure.
just in case.
Sure.
Because I figured, well, if I'm going to be stuck somewhere, I'd rather be stuck there than in my house without power. And I don't know where the landlord is. I don't have a generator or anything else. So yeah, so we did that, but it ended up being like a mini vacation because there was nothing happened.
Right.
Right. No, and
Right.
it's true because some people say, no safer place to be than Disney for a hurricane
Mhm.
Yep.
because they are prepared.
Yep.
So that makes perfect sense for sure. But so what about, and we'll get into the fun stuff in a minute when it comes to the parks and all that, but I want to ask you, cost of living. Now it's going to vary depending upon where you lived previously. We've looked into it. Cost of living for the most part down there is a little bit cheaper than what we do here in Maryland. Maryland's very high. What do you think about the cost of living? Do you think it's
So
good?
relative to where I was living in Oklahoma,
Right.
Florida is a lot more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah, but I think it just depends on your demographic of where you're coming from. Like I know people from the Northeast, like from the New York, Pennsylvania area, even New England.
Right.
Florida cost of living is a lot cheaper.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially New York, Connecticut, those areas, very high cost of living for even higher than us, and we're pretty high.
Yeah. That's-
Oh yeah, but like if you're coming like from the Midwest, like myself, the cost of living here is a lot higher.
right.
So it's kind of a catch-22. It just depends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does too. I think it's always going to vary depending upon where you're coming from, but that is one of the things for sure. I think people need to look into. When they're thinking about that move, are you going to be better off, financially moving down there? Or are your
Work the numbers.
debts are going to be higher? Your cost of living, is it going to be higher for you to just get your everyday normal things, your gas, your milk, your bread, for sure. Because I think it plays a big part, wouldn't you?
And we're very lucky too, because you kind of have to look at if your income's going to be changing. We're very lucky that we're basically just transferring our jobs. So we're either going in with the same pay or increased pay, where we know, and that if the cost of living is at least the same or lower, that we're fine. Not going. So that helps a lot too. So if you don't know, or you have to have a pretty good idea, I guess, of what you have to expect income wise too to make a decision. So
Yep.
Very good, Melissa.
yeah. So we're lucky in that aspect. And of course, we've decided that we want to rent for the first year, just in case for any reason, that we're not going to like it. I can't imagine.
I doubt it.
But we just, to play it safe, I don't want to get into a mortgage just yet. We want to get settled, figure out, maybe get more familiar with different areas down there, because it's easy to say, oh, this is Orlando, this is Maitland, this is this area. But I know living near Baltimore, you can pull up Baltimore and that can be several different areas.
Yes,
just
it's
like
true.
I'm sure Orlando, I'm sure there's some really scary parts of town and not so scary. And finding the right ones that we can also afford is something we're going to need some time to get used to just the layout there, get everybody's feedback and opinions, and just hoping that we can find something to rent that we're not in like a
Good night,
bad
Dougie.
part of town.
Right. Good night, Dougie. I want to say good night to Dougie.
Dougie.
Dougie's going to bed. Dougie, have a good night. He says good night
Good
to Mom
night.
and Dad and Donna.
Good night, son.
But yeah,
I'll tuck you in a bit.
cost of living does mean a lot.
But I'll tell you, I agree with what Melissa said. I highly recommend renting at first, at least, even if you just want a 6-month lease or something, because it gives you that time. So you don't have to bite the bullet and buy right away. You can take your time and explore the areas. You can explore the housing developments and what you like. If you want a gated community, if you don't,
Right.
and all the different options that there are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Real fast, Jeff said he needs a prayer for his aunt who's in the hospital, not doing good.
Sorry,
Can't swallow.
Jeff.
She lost her brother a year ago. Jeff, definitely
That's
prayers
sad.
for your aunt. Hopefully she's getting better for sure, buddy. Phantasm Chronicles says, totally agree. I left in the late 90s because I couldn't afford to stay there. Talking about New York, New Jersey area. Very high cost of living. But let me ask you some things when it comes to weather down there for you. Of course, now dealing with hurricanes over tornadoes. What do you think?
I'd rather
I
deal
don't prefer either one, but if you had to choose,
for me, I would rather deal with the hurricanes just because they seem to have a lot more advance notice than the tornadoes.
oh,
That's
absolutely.
true.
They just sneak up on you and boom, there it is.
No, you know what? That's true, though. I mean, because normally about hurricanes days ahead of time.
Yeah.
They see it coming, so you're able to prepare. That makes.
Yes.
I've never. Oh, just knocked over my trash can. I never thought of it that way, but that's true.
Yeah.
You're able to do that and it gives you time to prepare for sure.
Yeah. I like being able to have that, that window of being able to say, okay, I need to do this and get this ready, and then I know what I need to do. With a tornado in Oklahoma, we could be on our way home from like the Starbucks or the grocery store or whatever, and all of a sudden the sirens start going off, and you're like, oh gosh, we need to get home and get to the safe room. What do you do? And it's just it's kind of problematic.
No, it's
There's
true.
nothing scarier than seeing a funnel of wind. I'll tell you what, just watching it on TV.
It's true.
And I have a friend that grew up. I'm just seeing pictures that frighten me.
Sam and I could see it in the back. It was right behind me, and it was following me, the tornado. And
Oh,
the black, it was so black and so dark, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And people were like pulling off, and I'm like, no, don't do that because you're going to get hit by this thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, just keep going.
That's crazy.
Good. And I got home. So
Wow.
yeah.
And
That's
Shelly,
so scary.
Shelly makes a good point. Tornadoes are just more irregular. You just can't predict it. It can pop up out of anywhere for sure.
Very true.
Yep, it's definitely very, very true. And thank you to LSU mom, Emily's doing a great job with modding tonight. She put the link in for your channel out there, Donna, as well.
Thank you, Emily.
So thank you, Emily, doing a great job. So let's talk. Kenzie Days is here. Welcome in, Kenzie. Good to see you as well. So let's talk some fun stuff for a minute here.
Sure.
What's one of the biggest, if you had to give me a couple of the really big pros to living close to Disney, specifically Disney, what's some of the pros to living close, would you say?
The pros for sure, you can go as long as you have your annual pass, you can go anytime you want to.
Right.
If I go, and it's too crowded for me, or it's too hot for me, or it starts to rain, I can say, okay, I can leave now and I can come back another day. When I didn't live there, that wasn't an option. I had my time, and if I didn't make the most of it, that was it. You had to cram everything into that, period of vacation time. And if weather or some other, factor came at you, you were stuck. Now I can just like, oh, it's busy today. Well, I'll just stay home.
Well, and it's all about
awesome,
there's that sense of urgency isn't there, because you're right. There's always tomorrow. I mean, as funny as that is, it is. You have that option. Fantastic Chronicles makes a good point though. Florida discount on your annual pass is pretty neat, right?
Yes. Well, we get the same with our DVC too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're not DVC and you're a Florida resident, absolutely. And when you're a Florida resident, you get to you can pay it up in increments instead of all at once, which is nice.
That is good.
Yes.
That
is
was a
that
big
you
plus.
talking about the monthly payments that you could
Yeah.
do?
For the
Yes.
annual pass.
Now, let me ask you this, Donna. If you know this, talking about annual passes, they have different ones you can do. Like Epcot has ones that are just during the week or just after 4 p.m. and stuff like that. Will they allow for that too on monthly payments? Do you know, or is it just a regular annual pass?
I think it's just the regular annual pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, gotcha. Now, do they ask for a specific? Can you put as much down as you want?
No, there's a minimum. There's a minimum. I'm not really
Right.
sure how much the minimum is.
Okay.
If it's a percentage or if it's a flat rate. Because I've always just had to buy mine outright, and since I used my DVC discount last year. This is going to be my first year in April buying as a Florida resident. So I will have information for that for you on that. Yeah.
Very nice. So are you doing the monthly payments?
I'm considering it because, like you, I have two. I have to do Sam's and mine, and together at once, that's a lot at once.
Yeah.
We pay for visas too.
Taking advantage of that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It adds up when you have a family. So I'm thinking of taking advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
And I think that's what we're going to do as well. It's nice to be able to not have to come up with that lump sum. Even if you do get the renewal discounts, which you can get the renewal discount, which is really nice for DVC, or definitely for DVC. Do they give a renewal discount for annual pass holders though, Donna? Let's say you're not a DVC person.
Renew before, like within a certain window before your expiration date on your annual pass, I believe you do get a discount.
Okay, great. All right, gotcha. So you get your discount. You can do monthly installments if you're a Florida resident. And what do you have to show, Donna, when you go there to show them that you are a Florida resident? Just driver's license, or?
I think I think driver's license or just any proof of residency that you have. I probably a utility bill or something with your address on it would be just fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And Phantasm Chronicle says, family of 6 here. How do you pay that all up front? It's hard, especially if you're not a Florida resident. That's, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
That's really tough.
Yeah, I mean, you figure you're looking at what, $800 times at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least 800 times 6. That's what, $4,800.
It's our dream because you can sell a kidney.
Yeah, you're going to have to sell a kidney for that. Oh my gosh, that is crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joey's World does say yes, you do get a discount for AP Florida resident renewal. That's great. Anywhere you can get those discounts, you have to take care of it.
Oh, absolutely.
You take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Candy Mom says I had to pay for my pass all at once this year. Yeah, it's not easy. Candy Mom says she's going to sell her little brother. So, any other pros would you say to living close to Disney that you can think of?
Just that we also get to do all the special events and things that, like, like the festivals and things that I wouldn't normally get to do because I would be here like once a year for 3 weeks at a time. That's what I used to do.
Right.
And I'd be here for food and wine and the Halloween and Christmas party. I'd overlap it so I could do the most that I could. I never got to do Festival of the Arts and things like that. Mm-hmm. Now I can do all that. I can go to the concerts that they have at Epcot during, the food and wine and the Flower and Garden Festival and like the Broadway performances for Festival of the Arts. I wasn't able to take advantage of any of that when I wasn't a resident. And it's really nice because you're like, oh, this person is performing tonight. I think I'll go see them,
That's awesome.
It's funny you said that because we said that. We were like joking around, but it's really true. We were like, it could be a Friday night after work, and we were like, let's go to Disney Springs and eat at such and such tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do that, or you were like, oh, let's just run over to Magic Kingdom for a little while. And it's one of the advantages, and that kind of leads me into my next question: is being down there now, you've been doing it for a while. Mm-hmm. Does the magic wear off? Talk a little bit about how it feels compared to when you used to just be going for a trip and it was go, 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 go. How's it changed for you?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot less stressful because I don't have to plan. I don't have to cram everything into a certain amount of time. And I'm able to enjoy myself more and not stress about it so much. Right. And I find it just a lot more relaxing for me. I don't have to do, trip planning. I have to book hotels. I don't have to, think, oh, is this a busy time of the year? Is this, because like I said, if I go and it's too packed, I'll just say, okay, I'm done. And it's just so different. I don't have to think about transportation. I don't have to think about any of that. I just go and I park and we're there.
That's nice.
Yeah, and that's the key. And I know, like, for some people, and I've watched other vloggers, they say it's just different now. That sense of urgency is gone because, like you mentioned earlier, that there's always tomorrow that you can come back and do it again.
Right.
But you don't feel like all the magic is worn off, not something taken for granted, would you say? That it's just...
I was actually concerned about that when I moved because, it was a special thing that we did once a year. And, it was like, is this going to be like, you take it for granted and it's, it's just there and who cares now because we live right there. Yeah. But it's not. It's even more magical and it's even more special. I get to meet all my friends that come down And that to me means more than any Disney ride or experience or anything. That is the best part for me, is meeting all my friends and everyone, that comes on the YouTube channels and everything, and seeing them in person. That makes my day. Yeah. And when people say they've seen me on like Resort TV 1 or something and they want to say hi to me, I'm like, really? Why?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, once they meet you, that's why they know you
exactly
at that
right.
point, because you're a superstar for sure. But Armando says you've already convinced them to move down there.
Well, I think it's different for our people in our community too. We have a special connection with the people and with Disney.
Family.
Yeah, it's just something special, because all the things you said are all the things I think we're most excited about. And some people don't have that same thing. And you hear, like, you had some cousins that lived down in Florida, and they were like, oh yeah, we just got sick of Disney. It was, we didn't want to go anymore. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I guess it's different for everybody, though. Everybody's different. Brian asked, Donna, have you done any of the fishing or any of the other outdoor activities since you've moved down there?
Well, I've done like the boating cruise things, like the dessert cruises and things like that, like the fireworks cruises. I haven't done fishing since I've moved here, but back in the day, I did. We used to go fishing all the time. I just, it's so funny, since I moved here, I haven't had time.
Right?
That's true. Because you still have
so active.
There's still life. I mean, there's still everyday life things that have to happen, whether it's work or whether it's this or whether it's that. Disney's there, but it doesn't make up the entire thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with you there. Desire Dream says, Donna, do you rent out your DVC points now, or do you still use them on special occasion? We plan on renting ours out. Not all of them out, but some of them. Do you rent your points at all, Donna, or do you just use them?
I use every single one of my points.
Sure.
And what happened? Like I said, I used to stay once a year for 3 weeks. So I bought a lot of points. I own at the Polynesian and Copper Creek, and I bought enough points so I could do that every year to stay 3 weeks at a time.
Right.
Because I used to drive down, and that was a 20-hour drive by myself. So I wanted to make the most of my trip. Right. But since moving, I get better rooms now is what I do, and I stay less times.
It's true. Yeah,
I stayed in the cabin at Copper Creek. You guys saw the pictures right on Instagram. Yeah, that was like amazing. So I used my points for that. We stayed at a 3-bedroom villa at a Savannah View at Animal Kingdom Lodge for 2 nights. And I stayed, like I said, I stayed less, but I stay in nicer rooms, which is something I hadn't experienced before. So it's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's how it is with us too with DVC. The one thing I'll say about DVC is no matter what, 9 times out of 10, you're staying in a deluxe resort. You're staying at the top of the line for Disney. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with the All Stars and the Pop Centuries and all. They're fantastic. But these are just a little bit. It's just once you do it, you understand it. They're pretty phenomenal for sure.
Really.
For us, that maybe we can use our points because we want to get on the West Coast to meet some of our Disney family out that way.
Yeah.
And maybe we can go stay at Disneyland pretty soon. So if we don't need to use them in Florida for a while, we could do that. So,
Joe World says, when are they going to start offering the fast passes for the Donna and our John?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Dean had asked a good question earlier too for Donna that I think we missed a little further up about some of the things that she might have done in Disney that we might not know about. Where did he put it? Like things, some of the places you go in Walt Disney World that most of us might not know about, or some, the regular, when we're just there running around with chickens with their heads.
Any kind of little secret places that maybe we should know about, or things that maybe most people will miss?
I'm trying to think. Well, see, I'm different from a lot of people because I mostly like to experience the park, not so much like the big rides and the big attractions and things. So I'll go off and find like quiet little nooks and corners and things like that where I can get away from the crowds. And like, I'm so boring. Honestly, my favorite ride is like the People Mover, Carousel of Progress. like so boring. I'm probably the worst one to ask for that because I just like find the little quietest corner I can go to and just like get a Starbucks and just chill there.
I kind of took that as what he meant. You know, just kind of little things
Yeah, I
you
think
can appreciate.
but that's the key
Not
is,
the big thing.
but what you're doing is you're enjoying your time there. And you're right. It's all about, I think it's a blessing that you be able to have that relaxation of just saying, you know what, I'm just going to chill here for a half an hour, watch the crowd, take in the ambiance, listen to the music, have a coffee and a donut or whatever it might be, a snack, and just relax. It's one of the things that I'm actually looking forward to because when we're there, it's go, 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 go.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
One of the things I really enjoy watching is the flag retreat on Main Street in Magic Kingdom every day at 5:00.
Saw it for the first time this year.
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, when they honor the veterans and the Dapper Dans sing, it's so moving and it's so patriotic. And, you know, having been a military spouse and all of that, it means a lot to me that they do that.
That's awesome.
And it's just something to behold. And every day it's different because a new veteran is honored. So it's never the same twice. And I just love that.
That's so
You know what, Donna? I think it's fantastic. And I find it to be emotional.
Yeah.
I loved it when I saw it for the first time. I did it after you had left. When I was still down there, I went to Magic Kingdom one day, and they were about ready to do the flag retreat, and I'm like, I'm watching it. I'd never seen it. I love it. I think it's really patriotic. It's done really, really well. I think it's great. And it's so cool that they pick out a veteran or is it always a veteran or is it an active military member?
No, it could be a veteran, an active member, or it could be a family member.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just of anyone in the military or having served in the military. And, you know, it's just so nice.
It is. It really is. And like you said, it's every day. So they do it every single day. It's pretty awesome for sure. I agree 100%. But let me ask you this. Let's do the flip side. We talked about pros to living near Disney. Are there any kind of cons or downfalls to living?
Okay. I have a con, and my con is there's not enough time. There's not enough time in a day to do all the things I'd like to do and see everyone I'd like to see.
Yeah.
If there were like 2 more hours in the day, I would be so sad. But that's a good problem to have. And I'm just so blessed and so fortunate to, you know, be able to do what I do. It's just amazing.
Aww.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the great things about it is these parks are so big. Walt Disney World is so gigantic. It's just, I mean, it's bigger than San Francisco or the size of San Francisco. You know, bigger than New York, Manhattan, for crying out loud. There's so much to do. You can, even living down there, Donna, I'm sure there's still tons of stuff that you probably haven't done yet that you want to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because we got annual passes also to Universal. I've been once.
Oh, really?
That's funny.
It's just so crazy. And I'm like, there's so many things I want to do, and there's not enough time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I do want to ask you this question. Joey's World brings it up, talks about traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we live literally 5 minutes out of Baltimore City, so we see tons of traffic ourselves. We really do.
Yeah.
What do you think about the traffic? I know there's a lot of construction on I-4 and Internet.
I'm glad you asked that because coming from Oklahoma and 5 acres, my traffic was cattle.
Right. Yeah.
We would have to stop because cows were crossing the road. That was my traffic. But here it's a totally different ball game. If you time it right, I notice you can bypass a lot of the traffic, especially where I live. As long as I time it where it's like, and I'm very fortunate that I'm pretty much retired, so I don't have to worry about a 9 to 5 schedule.
Right.
I don't have to go through school zones, which are like, that backs up traffic for like forever. One time, usually it takes me 5 minutes to get to Starbucks. When school is in session and I go during school time and the school zones are going, it takes me 20 minutes to get to Starbucks. Minimum.
So do you think it's because I noticed from where Mason is, we have to drive about 20 to 25 minutes to get to Disney from
More than
Mason
that.
School. It seems like there's a lot of construction
Yes.
going on. Do you think that once they're finally done that construction, that will ease that a little bit? Do you think? Maybe not all the way, but
Finding has been that Florida is very sneaky, and there's always construction, no matter when. It's like the construction. It was like that when I lived here 20 years ago.
Right.
They'll finish one area, start somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
Like
start all over again.
Gotcha.
It's like that here too. And there's some crazy people drivers in Florida. I'll tell you what, there are crazy people here.
They like to honk here a lot, and I don't know why. I mean, you're near the happiest place on earth for me. Stop honking your horn.
Not on I-4, I guess.
No, but there are some nutty drivers. So
I don't even go on I-4. I'll be honest with you. I will avoid it at all costs.
Gotcha.
Yep. So Nick wants me to ask, do you like Dole Whip?
Seeing that Nick is almost always with me in the park, I think he should know the answer to this, but the answer is yes. But Melissa, did you hear that they have at Disney Springs now Dole Whip nachos?
What?
The chips are made of waffle cone, and then they put Dole Whip on it, so you can dip the waffle cone in the Dole Whip, and then they top it with like strawberry and pineapple topping and whipped cream. We've got to try it.
Where is it?
That sounds good.
Where is it?
It's at one of the little food truck kiosks.
Oh, okay. At the food trucks. Nice.
Wow.
Yes, definitely have to try it.
It's a date.
That sounds interesting.
Definitely big enough to share.
Jackie says there's a lot of Mr. Toad drivers in Florida. I won't drive there.
True. Very true.
I had a lot of experience driving in the August trip, and it was surprising. I was fine with it because we drive on the highways in Baltimore all the time, so it's not like I was scared or worried or.
Drive defensively. That's my advice. Drive defensively and just always assume someone's going to cut you off because they usually do.
Do you see Nick's? Donna, can you see Nick's comment?
Oh, Nicholas.
I'll just let you read it.
Yes, the Dole Whip nachos are decadent, Nicholas.
I don't know how Nick's getting home, but you're not giving him a ride home tonight. He's walking.
That's it.
He's walking tonight.
Better call your dad.
Well, there's a story behind that. Last night, he and Samantha were fortunate enough to dine at Cape May Cafe at the beach club.
Yeah.
And he was going to get his dessert. And this woman was like taking huge portions of the dessert, so he didn't have a chance to get any. And she said to the cast member, "Ooh, this dessert looks so decadent." That's why he said that.
Oh, poor Nick. Wait a minute. Somebody was eating his dessert?
Well, no.
Buffet, right?
Oh, okay. I got you.
Go get more. But yeah.
I know. I was gonna say
That is so funny.
they needed to bring more in. It's terrible.
And
Poor Nick.
it's funny. You talked about Universal and Disney, and we ourselves have said, "Oh, we're going to get Universal annual passes," but it is the one thing that scares me is I'm afraid I'm going to get them, and I'm going to have and never use them. I'm going to have that day where I go, "Let's go to Universal," and then we're like, "Nah, let's go to Disney."
I think we should probably wait. See
Well,
how
I
we
think
go.
for me is that I live further away from Universal. Like for me, Disney is like a 10-minute drive.
Right.
And Universal's what, about 25?
About 30, 35.
Okay.
And then if you
far
put it's even more. So it's a little bit more of a hike to get there. So that factors into it. And yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
No, that's all right.
No, because that's kind of what's
As far as getting the passes, I don't know why I got them because it seems like I'm wasting it. But yeah.
Well, but you know what? It might change. You never know. Jim wants to know where you got that adorable Nick plush on your shoulder. There he goes.
Was that planned?
That is so funny.
Man.
Everybody saying hi to Nick. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, there he is.
Nick says hi, everybody.
So Donna, let me ask you: at living down in the Orlando area, Disney area, there's Disney, there's Universal, but what else is there?
Well, there's SeaWorld. NASA's like an hour away. I really want to go there. I haven't yet. There's Tarpon Springs, which is a little over an hour away.
What is that?
It's like a fishing village. It's like a seaport, and it's just a beautiful place. It has a lot of like you can go on sea excursions and fishing and all kinds of things, and it's a really nice place.
Okay.
And there's botanical gardens. There's so many things to see here, and of course, Gatorland.
Oh yeah.
Now, how far away is Gatorland from the Disney Central area right there? Would you say?
It's about a half an hour.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I don't know if I want to go there or not.
That's not bad.
It's funny because I ended up there on accident, thanks to Samantha. She wanted Culver's burgers, and she wanted cheese curds, and she's like, the Culver's, I got it on my phone, so she pulled it up on her GPS, and I knew when it put me on the turnpike, I was in trouble, because I'm like, no, this shouldn't be this far away. I ended up in Kissimmee, and then it gets me off the exit, and I'm like, we're at Gatorland. That was the closest one, and I knew there was one like 10 minutes from our house. I'm like, what is this?
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh my gosh. And of course, there's other things there. I mean, you have the Orlando Eye, you have this.
There's Legoland.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Starfire. There's Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's so many things. There's Madame Tussauds Wax Museum downtown, and all kinds of stuff. There's Busch Gardens in Tampa.
Busch Gardens is what, Tampa, right? Which is a little further away, but.
Like an hour.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
So
you never run out of things to do here. That's for sure. And there's always a festival or something going on.
And let me ask you about that. So living in the area, and you want to take a break from Disney, but you want to find other things to do. Is there, I know this is going to sound dumb, but is there like a newspaper or some sort of like pamphlet or something that you can get that shows different things in areas?
Real world, something online, newspaper.
Well, you know what I mean. But is there like an Orlando guide where you could find things like that?
Yeah, they have free guides all over the place, but for me, in my neighborhood, they actually put out a little newspaper with like things going on. There's like a farmer's market every Friday. They have a food truck like gathering every like first Friday of the month or something like that. So there's always something going on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're saying it's called the internet, Walt. Well, a lot of times they'll hand out like if you live in a homeowners association area, they'll hand out stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing too I noticed after I moved is Facebook really takes notice of what I do, because now it suggests these little festivals. It's like, oh, the Strawberry Festival is happening in Claremont, and I'm like, okay.
Love me a festival.
And that's the thing. Like for us in this area, we have the farmers market. I don't know if you guys have any farmers markets in the area. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but yeah, we love farmers markets. They're fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, and like for us, we have a farmers market here that lasts from March to December.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be April to December. It's a really long time. Do yours normally go for a long?
Probably year round.
Oh, they're okay.
They don't have the weather like we do, so yeah.
Okay,
ours
gotcha.
is every Sunday. I mean, they're all over the place too, but they don't necessarily last year around here.
Yeah. And, Donna, let me ask you, being as a DVC person, and for those people again that are thinking about the area, not too far away is the DVC Vero Beach.
Correct.
I don't know. Have you ventured over there yet? Have you seen that place?
Not, but I really want to, and I'm going to use my points for a couple of nights there. Hopefully this coming year when my points renew. Yeah.
We were thinking about that for my birthday in August.
Yep.
Maybe we should all go together.
Awesome.
Yes, we were thinking about maybe a couple days over there for Melissa's birthday. We'll have to talk about that. Maybe you guys can come with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That'd be fun.
Because when I looked at the points, and I know we're kind of getting a little bit off topic, but when I looked at the points, they're really not that bad for Vero Beach.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Now, they do have other things down in Florida as well. I think this is more local, but they have like certain, like you have Shula's. But what was the other? There's a place where you can get discounts. What's that place? It's a card you can get. What's the?
Tables in Wonderland?
No, not Tables in Wonderland, but what's the other card that you can get, Donna, that's kind of a Florida card that like gets you to the front of the line at like T-Rex? Is it Landry's?
Oh, Landry's. Yes. It's actually available online.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're a member of the Landry's club, you get a $25 ticket on your birthday every year, on your anniversary every year to use. And you also get to the front of the line at any restaurant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I knew that because a friend of ours, I think Rick and Pam, friends of ours have Landry's, and they were like, we were waiting in line this was years ago now, where we went to T-Rex of all places, and they're like, we don't have to wait, we're going to the front of the line. And sure enough,
I'd never heard of it until they
got pushed to the front of the line with our Landry's card. Yep, it's really convenient and helpful. Nice perk.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, do you get also discounts on your food with that as well in certain places, or?
I think she said birthday.
Yeah, on your birthday, you get a $25 gift certificate to use at any of their restaurants, and the same on your anniversary. So, yeah, it's really
nice. That's a good discount. I mean, that could pay for your
meal, really.
Person. That could pay for a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a Landry's card. Is that nationwide or is that?
Said, but I've never heard it here.
Oklahoma.
Okay, we don't have it up here. Does it work
does.
Anywhere in Disney other than like T-Rex?
Any Landry's owned restaurant, so it would work at like Rainforest Cafe. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard of Saltgrass Steakhouse, but that's one of the Landry's properties. They're nationwide. Oh, Yak and Yeti. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's a good one because we actually like the Yak and Yeti. Good food there.
Mm-hmm. Get up online.
Absolutely. Okay. Gotcha. But
it says the Boathouse.
Okay. Perfect. So Donna, when it comes to, let's talk some questions. Everybody in the chat, if you have any questions for Donna, as we're coming up on 9 o'clock, we're usually on for about 90 minutes. I don't want to hold Donna too long. But if you have questions for Donna, now's the time to put them in the chat. We're going to look at them. And Nick wants to know what time is it, Donna?
and Lisa brought up a good point. I forgot that with Landry's, you earn points, and then you can use those points towards meals.
Okay.
Perks, for sure.
Oh, all right. Gotcha. So definitely some perks there. Jim wants to know, is there a newspaper I can read to find out what's on the internet? I'm sorry, I'm old school. I like newspapers, like reading books. Melissa will read the books from her phone.
My Kindle.
Or from her Kindle. I want a paperback in my hand. That's what I need. I'm old school. What can I say? And there's no fee for the card for Landry's, correct? I didn't know that.
I was trying to check that online. Oh, that's neat then. Wow.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Donna, with your new home, do you have an HOA there? Is it a homeowners association?
I do, and it's actually not terrible. And that was one of the things when I was looking for a home. I didn't want to pay for things I wasn't going to use. Do I look like I'm going to be in the fitness center? I mean, honestly,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, I might use the pool, maybe. I don't really care about all those, things. Those, for me, coming from Oklahoma where I took care of everything myself anyway, I didn't need all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to pay like $200 plus a month for things I was never going to use.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the house I found, the homeowners fees are only $38 a month, and it's basically they maintain, the neighborhood common areas. And you have a pool and I think a fitness center and a clubhouse you can use if you need to or want to. But Yeah.
Perfect.
It's just simple, easy peasy. That was fine by me. It's not
Gotcha.
needed or anything like that. I don't need a guard standing out there 24
Right.
hours a day, you know.
And I want to touch on this question from Paula in a second, but I do want to ask you: are a lot of the homes down there, are they in communities, or are there a lot of? Okay, so a lot of them are community homes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Almost, I think everything I looked at was in some form of a community. They all had homeowners fees that varied greatly. Like one community I was looking at, it included actually lawn care and cable or something, but the
Yeah.
fees were like 200 plus a month. I was like, oh, for goodness sakes. And I was like, well, what if what does that include? And they were like, well, basic cable. And I'm like, well, what if I want, the gold package? What do I do?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't like being, stuck and not having options. So, yeah.
That's
That makes
weird.
sense. So Paula asked, where would you stay? And I may have to get her to qualify what she means, but where would you stay if you were renting for 2 to 3 weeks during the holidays? So I don't know if she means on Disney property or maybe not Disney property, because I know they have houses that you can rent out, correct?
They do. Yeah, I would go, if it was me, I would go to like a DVC point rental place if I was going to stay on property and rent DVC points if I wasn't a member to get a long-term stay. They also have like those home vacation rentals or whatever. Like what are those, like rent home vacation rental.com?
Well, yeah, no, there's like we saw it on a couple other vlogs where you can rent an entire house.
Yeah.
It can have like 8 bedrooms in it. It can put like 15 to 16 people in it for the week for a few grand, but they have a pool, they have a community, and it looks really
Divided by 16 people, it's not that bad.
Well, I'm sorry, say again.
When you divide it by, if you have like 4 or 5 families or however many people, it's not as bad. When you have like, so many people renting it at the same time, like say there's 12 of you and you're all dividing that cost.
Yes, it makes it much more affordable when you're able to split the cost like that.
We were looking at one a while back that we saw on another vlogger's channel, and it looked really nice. They had several different houses with different sizes. I wish I could remember what it was right now, because Paula, I would tell you, but now I can't remember. But they were really good, and like Donna was saying, if you have multiple families that you can share the cost with, it ends up being a really good deal.
Yeah, and it's probably going to save you a lot of money, especially compared to what you're going to pay if you stay if you stay on property for sure.
Right. Right. And this thing, I don't know if Paula meant staying on property or off property. If you're going to stay off property, I would say, do you want to be near Disney? Do you want to be near Universal? There's a lot of different ways to go about where you would want to rent a house. So,
Gotcha. And I did want to say real fast, off topic, right after our show tonight, Two Real Geeks, Danny and Phantasma Chronicles, are going to be doing their show at 9:30. So if everybody wants to jump over there, please do go show them some support. Two Real Geeks, Danny's good channel. Phantasma Chronicles, great guys. It's called World of Randomness. They go at 9:30. They were usually on Sundays, but they're switching to Tuesdays. So I told them I would definitely kind of throw them a plug, and I wanted to do that while we still had a lot of people in here. So be sure to check out World of Randomness at 9:30. I think it's going to be on Phantasma Chronicles channel. So if one of my mods can throw that in the chat, the link, I'd appreciate that for sure.
And Paula G. Wilson mentioned VRBO. That is a place where you can go online. They're like Airbnb where you can find rentals. That's a good place to check. Where we saw the vlog was actually on Oiby, which is used to be Roy Meets World. I don't know if
Oiby
was on.
Yeah.
And he and his family do rent houses all over the place. They do a lot of family joint trips with like cousins and stuff like that. So I cannot remember the name of the community, but yeah.
It's beautiful. It was beautiful. It was very, very nice. So Avery asked Donna, are you excited for the new Reflections Lodge coming soon? Will you miss seeing the abandoned river country? And is she excited for the Tiana restaurant?
Okay, so I'll answer it in order. Yes, I am very excited for the Reflections Lodge. I can't wait to see what they do with that. I think it's going to be amazing. If it's going to be like the Riviera, I was just stunned by it. It's just beautiful. They just keep getting better and better. So I can't wait to see what they do with that.
Now, the Reflections Lodge is going to be DVC, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a DVC. Now, which of course everybody, for those, just because it's DVC doesn't mean you can't rent the room, but it is DVC technically. Gotcha.
Mhm. And I will not miss River Country just because we did it so many times. I'm ready for something new. My girls did play there a lot when they were young, and there were a lot of good memories there. But I'm anxious to see the new lodge, and I am excited for the new Tiana restaurant. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I do. Do we know where that's going?
I don't know.
You see, I don't know either.
I don't either.
I didn't even know they were doing a Tiana restaurant in Walt Disney World.
You would think it would be in either Riverside or French Quarter at Port Orleans because it's in New Orleans. But
I agree. If someone in the chat knows, let us know. But if they're going to put it anywhere, I agree with you, Donna. It's got to go in French Quarter. I don't know that it fits really anywhere else outside of one of the parks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant will. It'll be at Reflections. Okay.
Oh.
See that might work there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, it's going to be at the Reflections Hotel. I didn't even know that that's what it was going to be. That it's going to be things like that. I think that's great.
That's awesome.
Disney Vlog channel we are.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it. But so Donna, I got some questions for you.
Sure.
Favorite. We'll take it. We'll make this one hard. Favorite table service restaurant at Walt Disney World right now. What's your favorite?
Table service.
And why?
Okay. Well, let's see. I love Toledo at the Grand Destino Tower. It's probably the best steak I've ever had in my life, and it's absolutely stunning up there. My second favorite, if I had to pick in a park, would probably be Tiffin's. And the food is excellent there, but the atmosphere is just incredible. They have so many sculptures and the lighting. It's just, the whole thing is just amazing. It's quite an experience just to be there.
And that's at Animal Kingdom, correct?
It is.
Yeah, we've never eaten there yet. I'll have to look at the menu. Now, is the menu over there really exotic, or is it something that's going to be?
I know how you are, Walt.
Yeah, it's a little hard for him.
Samantha had steak, and I had steak, and it was cooked perfectly. It was great. I think you'd enjoy it.
Good. Okay, great.
Get the steak. It's
gotcha. Yeah, I'll have to. And you said, where was the best steak you ever had? What was the other place? Toledo's, right?
Yeah.
I have to definitely try that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because for me right now, Le Cellier is still my favorite. It's it's the best steak I've ever had. But
me too. Yeah.
But that's why I wanted to hear it, because when for someone who's down there and eats at a lot of these different places, it's good to have these types of recommendations, because it's, like you said, I might get there and I might say, nope, Toledo's is now number one. So that's cool.
I'm still stuck on Sanaa.
I love Sanaa. Sana's definitely in my top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yep. So let me see what else. Favorite quick service in Walt Disney World. What about quick service?
Now, is this resort or park?
Let's do parks first. In the park.
Okay. Let's see. I would have to say Sunshine Seasons, just because of the variety.
Interesting.
That I get there. Yeah.
Okay.
We were just talking about that, how we really want to finally try that, because I've been wanting to try it since like our second trip, but every time I'm in Epcot, I'm like, it's that sheer fact that you're there for a week and I want to go to all the different places in World Showcase. So now I'm like, we were just saying that the other day, I'm like, we're going to eat at Sunshine Season.
Yeah, very true.
Because I love the things they have to pick there, but I just couldn't pick that over other things. So that's cool.
Yeah. So that's a good one. So that's in the parks. What about at the resorts? What's your favorite quick service at a resort?
Well, hands down, it's Il Piatto, Primo Piatto at the Riviera.
Oh.
Best quick service I have ever had. They have a hanger steak I keep going to steak. I guess I like steak, but they have a hanger steak with mashed potatoes and carrots, and it's only $17.99. It's like the best deal on Disney property.
Oh, you
Wow.
would love that.
Yeah, well, take care, Candy Mom. Thanks for being here. Everybody say goodnight to Candy Mom. Thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
Donna, we may have to try that one as well because
Yeah, you'll have to.
I'm with
That's
you. I
great.
love steak. I mean,
So they had steak at a quick service. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
I agree 100%. Let's see here. What else do I want to ask you?
Good night,
Favorite-
sweetie.
Good night. Let's see what else I want to ask. What about favorite show at Walt Disney World? If you had one show that you had to see, which one would it be?
Nighttime, like fireworks things, or like shows like you go to see.
Either one. Just like if you had just one show you could pick, including fireworks shows or stage shows or whatever it might be, what would you pick? What would be number one?
Well, okay. If it was a stage show, I'll do two different ways. Stage show, hands down, Festival of the Lion King.
Okay.
I love that. It's a Broadway quality show. It's inside, so you don't have to deal with the heat and the rain if it's raining. I just love that show. And for like fireworks and things like that, I have to say Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
With Epcot Forever being a close second.
Yeah, we agree. Happily Ever After is our favorite as well. It never gets old.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It never gets old.
I know.
We enjoy it so much as well. I do remember when Festival of the Lion King used to be over in Camp Mini Mickey. Remember those days?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yep. They used to have it over in Camp Mini Mickey, and they used to have the meet and greet right there. And they used to have Pocahontas and her furry friends.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you
That's
remember
right.
that, but that was pretty cool. Yep. And you know what? Amy says that Samantha loves the Frozen show.
Oh,
That's
Samantha,
actually very good.
yeah, she loves that show. And I have to say, the Star Wars Fireworks Spectacular at Hollywood Studios is really way up there for me too. That's such a close contention with Happily Ever After. It's really well done.
I agree 100%. I really enjoy the Star Wars show a lot. Fireworks are great. The different scenes that they put in there, they have a good mix of all.
Fire is so hot, it like melts my contact lens.
Oh, geez.
That's a scary visual.
Yeah, it really is pretty amazing now. So Donna, Rob says, what's your favorite season/holiday at Walt Disney World?
Christmas.
Yeah.
I love Christmas.
Us too.
I'm with you. You know what? I agree. 100%.
I mean, when we watched that parade together, I had the best time with you, Walt. We were like, woo, remember the
It was, but you know what, Donna? I have to say this. It's the God's honest truth. We've been for the Halloween party, and we love the party, and we love the parade. And I was like, oh my gosh, no parade's going to be better than the Halloween parade.
Right?
But for me, I really enjoy the Christmas parade. I didn't really, when I watched it on TV, it's not the same. It doesn't do it justice from when you're there and you hear the music and you got the snow coming down.
The snow. It's the clincher.
I think it is because it's just so fantastic. I love that parade. I really do.
60-degree snow. That's my favorite kind.
No, buddy.
No shoveling.
It
No
just
sliding off the road.
and you're right. We had such a great time watching it with you and Nick and Samantha. It was
That was
awesome.
a great memory. I mean, we were singing, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah, we were going woo. With the people throwing the balls up in the air, they go woo. It was awesome. We had a great time, and we were all tired, and our feet were killing us from walking around, but we didn't care. It was great. So, a couple more questions, and I won't hold you too much longer, Donna. Thank you again so much for being here.
This has been awesome.
This has been fantastic. But of course, I got to ask you. We're gonna go to each park because I want to know specifically. Favorite ride at Animal Kingdom. We'll start there.
Okay, it's a toss between the safari and dinosaur.
Really? Okay. Not a fan of Flight of Passage, or
Haven't been on it.
What?
you don't want to do it?
Well, ever since I broke my summer in 2018, it's still not back to where it should be. So I'm always afraid I'm going to tweak it. I used to love to go on those rides, and now I'm like terrified.
I got you.
Well, I have to kind of keep my eyes half closed through half of it. I'm always like peeking out.
Gotcha.
But it's so amazing I can't not ride it. But
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I love the safari,
Oh,
and
me too.
Dinosaur is highly underrated. I think
so,
it's
too.
better than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Those
I
are my
agree.
two favorite things in Animal Kingdom too.
Yeah, I love
Flight of
Everest.
Passage.
But I agree with you. I think Dinosaur is highly underrated. It's always a forgotten ride for some reason over there. What about Epcot? Let's head over to Epcot. What's your favorite ride over there?
Okay, for me, it's a classic. I love Spaceship Earth. I love Spaceship Earth and Living with the Land. I could ride those all day and be a happy camper.
Me too.
That's us too. I
That's
agree.
Either we're boring together or we're not boring at all.
No, I'm a nerd.
Because those are all my favorite things too.
Yeah, we agree. That's our favorites as well. Spaceship Earth is, first off, just the technology and the engineering behind that
I'm gonna miss it.
is amazing.
It's going to be close for 2 years. I'm so sad about that, but I can't wait to see what they're doing with it.
Oh, sure. They better not mess it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I love Soarin', but I liked it better when
I liked it
was...
better with Soarin' over California for some reason. I just liked it better.
Me too.
Okay, let's head over to Hollywood Studios. What's your favorite over there?
Toy Story Mania, because I'm competitive.
That's a
It's
great one.
so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Alien swirling saucers too. That's just so much fun.
Again, I think it's underrated. People think it's not that good. I love it. I think it's great.
I always laugh. I always come off of that ride laughing because I slide here, I slide there. Oh.
But then, to me, that's what makes it a success because you come off with a smile on your face.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love Star Tours.
Oh yeah,
still
I
love
agree.
Star
I still love Star Tours. I love it a lot.
Stop knocking
I
me.
will say, Rise of the Resistance is unbelievable.
It is.
But
I haven't done that one yet either.
oh, you would love that.
Oh,
I think
it's
that's pretty
really
phenomenal.
awesome.
I love Smuggler's Run. That is a ton of fun.
It's a death trap. Nick says it's a death trap. Talking.
Oh my gosh.
It's a trap.
I do love Toy Story Mania. I think it's a fantastic ride for sure. But yeah, that's a great. I love Slinky Dog too. I think that's a lot of fun.
Not me.
Russ says he challenges you, Donna. There you go.
On Russ, I am so competitive. I will definitely take that challenge.
There you
That'd be
go.
fun.
I heard it.
You
Oh,
against
I'm gonna
Russ.
tape it.
That's gonna be awesome.
I can't. I'll be in a different car. But you guys can tape it. All right. So let's head over to the last park. We'll head over to Magic Kingdom. Favorite ride or a couple of them over at Magic Kingdom. What is it over there? Your favorites?
Okay, so for me, I could stay in Tomorrowland all day and be happy. I love People Mover. If I don't ride the People Mover when I'm at Magic Kingdom, it hasn't been a trip to Magic Kingdom for me.
Right.
So I have to do People Mover. I have to do Carousel of Progress. I love Buzz Lightyear. I love the Laugh Floor. It's so fun.
Great ride. Great attraction. Great
That one's
attraction.
underrated too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You know what? It's funny, but Tomorrowland has really probably been my second favorite area. I always love Liberty Square. I'm a big Haunted Mansion fan. I just love Haunted Mansion.
Too. That's fun. I mean, People Mover and Haunted Mansion. If I don't do those, it's not a physical.
Yeah,
Not a
it's
complete
true.
day.
Yep, I agree 100%. But those are great picks. But well, Donna, I think that's everything I wanted to touch on for moving to Florida. And overall, would you say it's really you got to know yourself kind of thing, right? Whether because it works for some, it may not work for everybody, right?
Right. I think you have to sit down and plan, like you said, the pros and the cons, and figure out, your budget and your finances and see what works for you. And like you said, it's not for everyone, but for me, it's probably the best move I've ever made.
Right. And you know what? I forgot one I did want to touch on, and I thought it was a big one. What's the job market like down in that Central Florida area? Let's say you're somebody that doesn't want to work for Disney.
Right.
Is it something that's not good? Is it okay? What do you think about? I don't know if you have any insight in that.
Well, the area is expanding so much and so quickly. There's something for everybody, I think. I mean, if you can't find a job here, I don't know why you can't, because there's so many needs out here for different jobs and different, services and skills. Yeah, I think, but I would definitely, scour the market before, you say, I would say, oh, I'm going to move down here. Don't just do that.
Right.
No, I agree. I mean, that was the big move for us, is we were already set.
Right.
In that position. We're not coming down with nothing in hand. We're already set.
Then that was a big
and that
deal
was
for us.
the biggest deal of it all. Is that was the deal breaker for sure. If we didn't have that part of it, we weren't making that move. But some people will do that. They'll say, I'm just moving. I'll find a job when I get there.
And that's, for me, I'm so the opposite. That would scare the heck out of me.
Yeah, me too.
I agree.
Couldn't happen.
Yeah, I agree. But there are folks, and I know folks that have done it. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. And that's why I agree with you. I think, have your ducks in a row, have your plan in place if you can, because you want to be able to support yourself when you get there.
Right. And you want to be able to go into the situation not, I'm the type of person that likes to know as much as I can and be as educated as I can going into a situation so I can make the best decisions going forward. And I really think that's my best advice, is just be as prepared as you can.
Do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework, know the areas, and that's one of the reasons I say rent for a while before buying a home, so that you can get to know the areas, you can get to know the job market, you can see what's going on here. That way it's not permanent from the get-go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Paula says, be retired. That's true.
That's
the best one. That's a lot of them are, but if you can do that one, that's the best one.
Yeah.
But
that'd be nice.
But on that note, Donna, I got to say thank you so much.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This has been fantastic.
So
Michelle says thank you for tonight. Had fun. We met Josh and Jenna last November, and all of you guys are our goals. Michelle, we hope to meet you too.
Absolutely.
But Donna, thank you so much. First and foremost, you're such an incredible human being in person. It's just, we're so honored and lucky to know you.
Blessed.
And very blessed.
You guys.
Oh, please, it's been our pleasure to have you on tonight. I hope you had a good time as well.
I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat, thank you to everyone in the chat. There's so many of you out there tonight. Yeah, great questions. The chat was very interactive tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. We thought this would just be a good idea for folks that maybe are thinking about it down the road. Hopefully this gives you some insight. There's the legend behind you. There he is. Yoo! There he is. Arjan, you got to say, I'm pretty. Maybe that probably should stick with Steve. But anyway, but by all means, Donna, we definitely appreciate you coming on, dear. We'll definitely have you on again. Obviously, we can't wait to get down there to spend time with you and Richard and Samantha and Nick. It's going to be great.
You guys, it's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it certainly is. But again, everybody in the chat, be sure to check out again Phantasma Chronicles tonight with Two Real Geeks as they do their show, Randomness, I think they call it, World of Randomness. Check them out at 9:30. Of course, Steve and Dan. Steve goes live on Mondays. Dan goes live on Saturdays. Check out our two partner channels, Dean over at theliveplace.com. Check out Dean as well. Monday nights is also Meg goes live at 9. Melissa and I tomorrow night are going to be on with D&G Explorers. They invited us on. We're going to be their special guest talking all things Disney at 8 o'clock. Of course, the Disney Nerd Herders go live at 7 with Not Quite Ready for Prime Time. PTV goes live on Mondays at 10. There's so many different streamers out there.
Great streamers.
And I apologize if I forgot you. Of course, Jim follows us in the morning at 7:30 before us. Check him out. Eye to Eye Disney is another great channel on Thursdays. Check them out. They're really, really good. They do a lot of great stuff, too. Check them out. I think that's everybody for now. Of course, Rob goes live on Fridays. Gonzo and his group go live on Sunday mornings. Check them out. just so many great people. Be sure to check everybody out. But Donna, again, thank you, dear. Any last words for everybody in the chat?
I just noticed that Russ said that he's applied for a job at Disney World, I believe.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw that too. He did say that.
That's
Good
awesome.
luck, and I hope you get it. And yay, that's so awesome.
Yeah, Russ, that would be great, buddy. If you could do that, let us know.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Yeah, keep us posted for sure. My Disney Park memory says, great to know you better, Donna.
Aww.
Thanks for streaming Mouse Talk. Thank you, guys. But we're going to sign off now. And, of course, Donna, again, thank you, dear. And to everybody else, like we always say, please take care of yourselves and each other. And we will talk to you guys all really, really soon. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.